Have you ever felt trapped in a relationship that constantly leaves you feeling drained, unappreciated, or even manipulated? You try to be kind, understanding, and accommodating, but it seems like your efforts are never enough. If this sounds familiar, you might be dealing with a narcissist. A narcissist is someone with an inflated sense of self-importance, a constant need for admiration, and a tendency to disregard the feelings of others. They are experts at manipulation and draining the emotional energy of those around them. Unfortunately, being too nice to them can lead to you losing your power and sense of self. In this video, we'll explore why being kind to a narcissist can actually harm you, and more importantly, what you can do to reclaim your power. You'll learn how to protect yourself, set healthy boundaries, and rebuild the self-confidence that may have been eroded. Ready to take control? Let's get started. Why being nice to a narcissist can actually harm you. Have you ever felt like no matter how kind you are, how much you sacrifice, or how hard you try to understand, a certain person is never satisfied? If so, you might be dealing with a narcissist. And here's what you need to understand. Being nice to a narcissist won't make them change or appreciate you. Instead, it can cause you to lose your power and trap you in an exhausting cycle of manipulation. Narcissists are exceptionally skilled at taking advantage of others' kindness. They don't see your goodness as genuine. Instead, they view it as an opportunity to fulfill their selfish needs. For example, imagine you have a coworker who constantly asks for your help. You gladly assist them, but instead of thanking you, they blame you when something goes wrong. Or in a romantic relationship, your partner might praise and give you attention only when they need something, but ignore you at other times. These are examples of how narcissists exploit your kindness. The problem is, narcissists often perceive kindness and humility as signs of weakness. They see them as opportunities to dominate and control. The nicer you are, the more they feel entitled to take advantage of you. They tend to exploit your empathy and good nature as tools to fulfill their own emotional needs. And here's the most dangerous part. When you constantly try to please a narcissist, you may start sacrificing your own needs and values. Over time, you could lose your sense of self and feel like you're living only to meet their expectations. You might avoid conflict by always giving in, even if it means ignoring your own feelings or principles. Or you might feel guilty when trying to set boundaries, because narcissists often use guilt as a manipulation tactic. What's worse, being nice to a narcissist won't stop their manipulative behavior. In fact, it will reinforce the cycle of manipulation. They will keep demanding more, and you will continue to feel trapped in an unhealthy dynamic. Imagine feeding a wild animal. The more you feed it, the more it will come back and demand more. The same goes for narcissists. They are never satisfied. So, what should you do? The answer isn't to keep being nice, but to take firmer steps to protect yourself. We'll discuss this in more detail in the following sections. The steps to protect yourself and reclaim your power. After understanding why being nice to a narcissist can harm you, the next step is to learn how to protect yourself and reclaim the power you may have lost. This isn't about seeking revenge or being harsh, but about setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing your own emotional well-being. First, you need to realize that you cannot change a narcissist. They have deeply ingrained thought patterns and behaviors, and no matter how hard you try, they won't change unless they decide to do so themselves. So focus on what you can control yourself. Start by setting clear boundaries. Boundaries are your way of telling others what they can and cannot do to you. For example, if a narcissist constantly asks for your help without ever showing gratitude, firmly tell them that you can't always assist and that you expect appreciation for your efforts. This might feel difficult at first, especially if you're used to avoiding conflict. But remember that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect Next, stop seeking validation from them. One way narcissists maintain control is by making you feel like you constantly need their approval or praise. But remember, your self-worth shouldn't depend on what they think. Start building your own confidence by acknowledging your value and achievements without needing recognition from others. It's also important to reduce unnecessary interactions with them. If possible, limit the time and energy you spend on a narcissist. This doesn't mean you have to cut off the relationship entirely unless it's absolutely necessary, but you can choose not to engage in their drama or manipulation. For instance, if they try to provoke an argument, instead of reacting, you can choose not to respond or walk away from the situation. Additionally, build a strong support system. Talk to friends, family, or even professionals, like therapists, who can help you understand the situation and provide emotional support. Sometimes we're too close to the problem to see a way out. Getting an outside perspective can be incredibly helpful. Finally, focus on your personal growth. Redirect the energy you've been spending trying to please the narcissist toward things that make you happy and help you grow. Take up a new hobby, learn a new skill, or spend time practicing self-care. The more you focus on yourself, the less power they can take from you. Signs that you're dealing with a narcissist. One of the reasons so many people get trapped in relationships with narcissists is that they often don't realize they're dealing with one. Narcissists can be incredibly charismatic, charming, and even appear caring at first. But behind that mask lies a consistent pattern of behavior that you can recognize if you know what to look for. First, pay attention to how they talk about themselves. A narcissist tends to dominate conversations and always steer them back to themselves. They might exaggerate their achievements, seek praise, or even lie to make themselves look better. If you feel like you never get a chance to talk about yourself, or if they consistently dismiss your stories to bring the focus back to them, this could be a red flag. Second, observe how they treat others. Narcissists often belittle or manipulate people around them to feel superior. They might be kind to you in front of others, but treat waiters, coworkers, or even close friends with coldness or disdain. If you notice this pattern, be cautious. It could be a preview of how they might treat you in the future. Third, notice how they respond to criticism or disagreement. A narcissist typically doesn't handle criticism well. They might become defensive, angry, or even turn the blame back on you. They also tend to deny their mistakes and refuse to take responsibility for their actions. If you feel like you're always being blamed or made the scapegoat, this is a sign that you might be dealing with a narcissist. Fourth, watch how they manipulate your emotions. Narcissists are experts at playing with others' feelings. They might use guilt, fear, or even pity to control you. For example, they might say things like, "If you really loved me, you'd do this for me," or "No one else would put up with your behavior like I do." These are tactics to make you feel indebted and keep you under their control. Fifth, look at their relationship patterns. Narcissists often have a history of unstable or conflict-ridden relationships. They might fall in love quickly at the beginning, but once the relationship becomes serious, they start showing their manipulative and selfish side. If you hear stories about their ex-partners or friends being crazy or unreasonable, ask yourself if a similar pattern might be happening to you. Finally, trust your instincts. If you feel like something is off, if you often feel drained, confused, or unappreciated after interacting with them, don't ignore that feeling. Our bodies and minds often give us signals when something isn't healthy, and it's important to trust those instincts. How to communicate with a narcissist without losing yourself. Talking to a narcissist can feel like walking through a minefield. One wrong word, and suddenly you're caught in an endless argument or even targeted by their anger. However, as challenging as it may be, There are ways to communicate with them without losing yourself or getting caught up in their drama. First, keep your emotions in check. Narcissists often try to provoke emotional reactions from you, whether it's anger, guilt, or even pity. They use your emotions as a tool to control the situation. So when speaking with them, try to stay calm and avoid being provoked. Take a deep breath before responding and remind yourself that you don't need to prove anything to them. Second, use clear and direct language. Narcissists often twist your words or use ambiguity to their advantage. So, avoid long or complicated sentences. Instead, deliver your message in a concise, clear, and firm manner. For example, instead of saying, maybe we could try not to fight all the time, you could say, I don't want to argue about this. Let's talk later when things are calmer. Third, don't get caught up in the blame game. Narcissists are experts at shifting responsibility and making you feel like you're at fault. If they try to blame you, don't take the bait by defending yourself or retaliating. Instead, stay focused on the topic at hand. For instance, if they say this is all your fault because you never listen, you could respond with, we can discuss this issue without blaming each other. Fourth, set and maintain boundaries. This might be the hardest part, but it's also the most important. If you feel the conversation is becoming unhealthy or manipulative, don't hesitate to end it. You could say something like, I'm not comfortable with the way this conversation is going. Let's continue later when we can talk more calmly. Remember, you have the right to protect yourself, and setting boundaries is a way to do that. Fifth, avoid trying to fix them. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that if they're patient enough or kind enough, they can change a narcissist. But the reality is, change can only come from within themselves. Focus on what you can control, how you respond, and protect yourself. Finally, don't forget to take care of yourself after interacting with them. Talking to a narcissist can be emotionally draining. Take time to do something that relaxes and uplifts you, whether it's talking to a friend, exercising, or simply enjoying a cup of tea. This will help you recharge and remind yourself that you are valuable. Rebuilding self-confidence after interacting with a narcissist. After dealing with a narcissist, many people feel like they've lost a part of themselves. They may feel worthless, uncertain, or even unrecognizable to themselves. But remember, what happened was not your fault, and you have the power to rebuild the self-confidence that may have been eroded. First, start by acknowledging your feelings. It's okay to feel hurt, angry, or disappointed. Don't try to suppress or ignore your emotions, as that will only prolong the healing process. Instead, give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling. Journaling or talking to someone you trust can help you process those emotions. Second, remind yourself of your worth and strengths. A narcissist often tries to make you feel small and powerless, but that doesn't mean they're right. Make a list of things you love about yourself, achievements you're proud of, or qualities that make you unique. Read that list whenever you feel doubtful or unworthy. It will help you remember who you truly are, far from their negative influence. Third, focus on what you can control. One of the reasons relationships with narcissists are so draining is that they often make you feel like you have no control over your own life. But now, you can take that control back. Start with small things, like setting a daily routine that makes you feel productive, or trying a new hobby you've always wanted to learn. Each small step will help you feel more empowered. Fourth, surround yourself with positive and supportive people. Narcissists tend to isolate you from those who care about you, so now is the time to rebuild those connections. Seek out friends, family, or communities that make you feel valued and supported. They will remind you that you're not alone and that you deserve love and respect. Fifth, practice self-compassion. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to a close friend going through a tough time. Don't be too hard on yourself or blame yourself for what happened. Remember that you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Finally, consider seeking professional help. If you're struggling to recover, a therapist or counselor can help you understand your experience, process your emotions, and develop strategies to rebuild your self-confidence. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. In fact, it's a sign of strength and courage. Breaking the cycle of a relationship with a narcissist and moving forward to a healthier life. Ending a relationship with a narcissist is not easy. They often make you feel like you can't live without them, or that you're the only one who can understand and save them. But here's the truth: you are not responsible for their happiness or their change. What you can do is take responsibility for your own happiness and well-being. First, acknowledge that the relationship is unhealthy. This may sound simple, but it's the most important first step. Many people stay trapped in relationships with narcissists because they keep hoping that one day the person will change. But the reality is, change can only come from within themselves, and you can't force it. Admitting that the relationship is harming you is a huge step toward freedom. Second, make a plan to end the relationship. If you decide to break up with a narcissist, it's important to do so in a safe and planned way. This could mean seeking support from friends or family, arranging alternative living arrangements if you live together, or even consulting a professional like a therapist or counselor. Remember, narcissists may try to manipulate or intimidate you into staying, so preparation is key. Third, be prepared for their reaction. Narcissists often don't take rejection well. They may try various tactics, from begging and pleading to threatening or blaming you. They might say things like, "You'll never find someone like me," or "This is all your fault." Don't take the bait. Remember, this is part of their manipulation pattern, and you don't need to justify your decision. Fourth, focus on yourself after ending the relationship. This is the time to heal and rebuild your life. Start by doing things that make you happy and remind you of your worth. This could mean pursuing hobbies you've neglected, spending time with people who love and support you, or simply taking good care of yourself. Remember, you deserve happiness and peace. Fifth, don't hesitate to seek professional help if you're struggling. Ending a relationship with a narcissist can leave deep emotional wounds, and there's no shame in asking for help in the healing process. A therapist or counselor can help you process your experience, rebuild your self-confidence, and develop strategies to avoid unhealthy relationships in the future. Finally, remember that ending a relationship with a narcissist is not the end, but the beginning of a better life. It's an opportunity to rediscover yourself, build healthy relationships, and create a life filled with love, respect, and happiness. If you've made it to the end of this video, I want to say thank you. This is an important first step on your journey to reclaiming your power and happiness. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned. Being nice to a narcissist can harm you. It can cause you to lose your sense of self and trap you in a cycle of manipulation. 2, concrete steps like setting boundaries, reducing interactions, and focusing on yourself can help you protect yourself and regain your power. 3, recognizing the signs of a narcissist is key to avoiding unhealthy relationships in the future. 4, communicating in a clear and assertive way can reduce conflict and protect your emotional well-being. 5, rebuilding self-confidence is a process that takes time, but it's possible with self-compassion and support from loved ones. 6, breaking the cycle of a relationship with a narcissist is a courageous step toward freedom and happiness. Now, here's the most important message I want to leave you with. You deserve to be loved, valued, and treated well. No one has the right to take away your power or happiness. If you feel trapped in an unhealthy relationship, remember that you have the power to change it. Start with small steps, set boundaries, seek support, or talk to someone you trust. And if you feel alone on this journey, remember that you're not. There are many people out there who have gone through similar experiences and found happiness again. You can too. So, what's the first step you'll take today? Is it setting a boundary, seeking professional help, or simply reminding yourself that you are worthy? Share your plan in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you found this video helpful. See you in the next video. And remember, your life is yours, and you deserve to live it happily and powerfully.